Welcome to our YouTube channel. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And I know this is something kind of new on the channel, but I'm just trying it out. I wanted us to have like loads of conversations, like kind of podcast kind of topics. And today we'll be talking about niche and why you should have a niche. Why should you try to focus on a niche? And I have Myde, or Myde. Which one is it? I have Myde with me on
No,
the
that's
channel today.
complicated.
And yeah, Myde, just introduce yourselves.
Okay, so my name is Myde. I'm a filmmaker, basically. But some people call me Myde, they call me Myde. Anyone is fine, but then I call myself Myde. But a lot of people call me Myde. So I decided to just adapt.
How did you come out with the Myde?
Okay, way back I was into music. Back in the school, so I used to sing R&B and all this. You know how those things.
You never told me this one.
Yeah, so I used to talk clubs back then.
Today we'll just be going straight to what we're here for. We're going to talk about niche. This is kind of be like a controversial topic a bit in the industry.
Sure.
Like, should you kind of focus on the niche? Should you try your hands on everything? It's just something very, very complicated that I feel I passed through that phase, and a lot of people can kind of relate
Facts.
to that space of maybe you should niche up or not. But first of all, what's a niche? What do you think niche is?
Just to break it down, make it very simple. Niche is like focusing on one particular thing. Like, let me niche down to this thing. If I want to sell rice, I sell rice only, nothing else. So that just
What if your audience wants to eat rice and beans?
problem.
So yeah, I think that's basically what a niche is. It's basically like streamlining into one thing
Then.
and being a professional at
That's
one
it.
thing. I think
Exactly.
they said jack of all trade, master of none. And sometimes you can be
Jackie.
master of one and have no business and have no work. So that's basically what niche in filmmaking is. Like, there are several niche in filmmaking. Me, I've kind of found a way to not streamline niche to just being. It's people kind of make being in a niche kind of limited
Limited, yeah.
in a way, like saying, okay, my niche is let's say for example my niche is documentary filmmaking.
Yeah.
But how about filming a wedding like a documentary?
Sure, it's possible.
How
Very
about doing a
possible.
commercial like a documentary?
Yeah.
Do you get?
very
I
possible.
feel basically having a niche is just basically being known for one thing and one particular style. You
Yeah.
can either be being known for one thing or being known for a particular
style.
Do you get?
Okay.
As long as someone can recognize you with something, I think you already have a niche.
More like you're having a trademark.
Yeah, kind
Sure,
of.
facts.
That's kind of. What do you think in your own
So
aspect?
basically, that's the approach for it. Because when you're niching down to something, it just means that this is what people know you for. Like, okay, when you're talking of a guy that shoots amazing wedding videos in a documentary style, this is the guy you go for. And there are a lot of guys like that in the industry these days. That, you know, these are the kind of pictures and videos this guy deliver every time, every day, and basically they're documentary styles.
Yeah. So basically, having a consistent
See.
visual style, consistent signature that people can attach to your brand.
Exactly. Even without your logo being on it, they know
Yeah,
you are the
so
one.
that means you have a niche. So niche doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I'm just a DP. I mean, even that is a niche,
Sure.
but as I was saying, it's necessarily don't have to be limited to just that.
True.
Like having it's basically just having a particular signature style that is consistent across all
your
works
works.
that you deliver.
Yeah, facts.
That's I think that's basically. But do you think like having a niche can kind of work in terms of career growth in the industry?
Well, it depends on the country where you find yourself, first of all.
Location matters.
Location matters a lot.
Okay.
Because basically, I feel like in Nigeria, it's hard to niche down. Let's just be sincere with ourselves. It's hard to niche down in Nigeria.
Why do you think so? Why do you think it's harder in Nigeria than other like outside the country?
Okay, so you see in this country, Nigeria, yeah, we all understand what's happening in our economy. Facts, economy is terribly upside down. Yeah, so you cannot be in a situation whereby, let's say, okay, I'm a professional, I'm a DP. All I do is shoot commercials, and someone comes to meet you someday and say, "A guy, Alpha, I have this wedding documentary I want you to film for my company or for my friend. Her name is this. She loves your work and blah blah." And I say, I can't do this, and you're a guy that has not even shot in past 2 3 months. You turn down the job because of that.
But how do you now focus on one thing if you always have to compromise because because probably you haven't shot in a while? Like, so how do you find the balance? So are you trying to say that having a niche is not really advantageous, or you have to suffer very well before you can now start making money in your niche? Which one are you trying to say?
My own is that if you're starting out, yeah, you can start with a niche. For example, when I started out with with graphics. That was the first thing I started with. I was doing graphics in Koto.
And you were focused mainly on graphics.
Only on graphics.
Were you focused mainly on graphics because that was what you knew how to do best, or because you really wanted to focus on graphics alone? Like, were you getting like jobs to do like other things like photography and stuff?
Yeah, because I was working in a photography studio.
But
So
you're intentionally declining photography jobs.
I wasn't doing any photography. The other guys were taking pictures, like, I'm not interested. Well, so basically, we had other guys learning photography in the studio, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just said, I came here because of graphics, and that's what I wanted to learn. So I focused majorly on graphics. So anytime people come around and say, want to design posters or event and stuff like that, they give it to me, I handle. And when it got to a point, I'm like, okay, now I've explored graphic work, I'm satisfied with it. How far? Photography, come and teach me. Let me learn.
So you're saying you're taking it like step by
Like
step,
yeah.
step by step. Okay, that kind of makes sense. That makes sense. So in general, yeah, what are like the several niche in filmmaking do you think people can consider? Since you said you should start out with a niche, what are like niches in filmmaking you think people can actually like focus on while starting out?
There's a whole lot, basically. You can choose to be a producer. You can choose to be a set designer. You can choose to be a DP. You can choose to be an AD. I don't. Do we have people that actually major in AD? Like the only thing they do in Nigeria is AD.
Yeah, there are, but there are not so many.
They're not so exactly.
Yeah.
So you can choose. The only thing I'm going to do is being an AD. I don't want to even be a director. I'll just be an AD. So there's just so many options you can consider. That's what is fact. And I used to tell a lot of folks that photography industry is to be limited compared to filmmaking.
Yeah.
Film, you can explore so many options and you still survive.
And yeah, there's so many options, and you still kind of make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you still survive daily. You can be the sound guy. You have to record sound, audio every now and then. And everybody knows that this guy's audio is clean.
He's the best guy.
He's the best guy. He always come true for you. You have who else again? So they're just too much. Just too much. Just pick one, and you're good to go.
So that brings us up to the topic of if you are choosing a niche. Yeah. If you're choosing a niche, how do you now survive financially? Because like for example, let's say I choose to become just an AD. That's what I want to do. Yeah. But I can shoot.
Sure.
And then someone calls me, oh no, let's not even say I can shoot. Let's say I'm a good sound recorder. And then someone calls me to become a record sound for their set. Are you trying to say that I should decline?
I didn't get. Can you phrase the question?
Like, should you decline other jobs because you're focused on your niche?
Like I said, it depends on what level you are in your on your career journey. If you feel like, okay, for example, now 2000, being a graphic designer was at 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
Before I learned photography was like I think it's 2015.
Yeah.
So it depends on the path where you're following, you're going through, and it also depends on how far you've gone in your career path.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you're at an early stage, don't jump up and down, because at the end of the day, you realize you cannot focus on one thing. You learn 10% of here, 2% here, 5% here, 4%. At the end of the day, everything put together, you cannot deliver.
Yeah.
So that's just my own angle.
So you think while starting out you should focus on one thing.
Focus on one thing.
And then as you grow, you can now start trying
exploring
out
other options.
It's funny because I think the opposite way of that. I think while starting out, it's advantageous to try out a lot of things, because at that point, even though you say you want to focus on one thing, you would not still deliver the best on that one thing, because you're still starting out. You're kind of learning.
True.
So I'll personally say you should explore every aspect you get interest in while starting out. If you have interest in photography, take your camera and shoot photography. If one day you feel like, oh, let me try and do AD for this guy as a director, go ahead and try it. If you say, okay, tomorrow, no, I want to just be a DP. Okay, yes, fine, go ahead and
Be
DP.
DP.
Just try if next tomorrow you say, oh, I want to try graphics. Go ahead and try the graphics. Or if you say, oh, I want to, anything you want to do, I think while you're starting out, that is when you have the opportunity to take more risk.
Okay, that's another angle.
In terms of trying out things. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be the best at where you're starting out. So just try it as much as you can. But as you keep growing in your career, you should be able to put down some stuff and say, oh no, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to just do this. I want to just because at that time you start knowing what interests you the most. If you don't try out something, you will never know if it actually interests you.
So funny enough, this morning before coming here, someone sent me a message. I was like, Myde, what's up? Do you still do graphics or you stop doing? I'm like, okay. I said, depends on the kind of graphics. If it's high budget, call me. I will do it.
Do it.
So it's just big, like I say, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
But my own psychology is just this. Imagine you have 7 blocks on the table. There's 7 tires on the floor, and you're being asked to roll all these tires from Lekki Phase 1 to maybe Jakonde. You decide to roll all those 7 tires simultaneously. It might take you like 2 years to get where you're going to. So why not speed this one down? Get where you're going.
Trust me, I also agree with your philosophy of saying starting out with one thing. Honestly, if I could go back, I've been in the filmmaking industry for like, let's say, actively for about 6 years now. Imagine I've been focused on just being a director for the past 6 years. Maybe I've done more projects, more directing projects by now. But for the first 3 years of my active involvement in the industry, I was kind of like doing almost a lot of things. I was a DP, I was a content creator, I shoot, I do lights, everything, and all. But at the same time, doing all those things kind of came together to help me become a better director.
Yeah, because they're all connected.
Yeah. But if I just focused on just directing, maybe I would have gone further. So I say both ways actually
they work,
could
both
work. If I'm going to give an advice to someone that probably is just getting interested in filmmaking, I will actually tell him that, okay, instead of going around and trying a lot of things, if you really know what you actually want to do, if you just want, like, for real, like, you're just have interest in sound, no need of doing bobo to bobo and training. Just put your entire head into that sound, and you will grow as fast as you can in being the best sound designer. But if you don't know or you are not sure,
then explore. That works.
I think that is like the focus.
And I also think that people that are very good at multitasking can go through this approach. I don't like multitasking. It doesn't work for me. So I know this is what works for me. So stick to it, and I deliver.
Okay. So now we've all heard, like, you have to really like kind of know yourself, know what actually works for you. Like both ways work. You can, but what is both common between what and Myde, I and Myde are actually agreed on is that at the end of the day, you have to actually eventually focus on a niche, on one thing.
On the long run.
On one thing. Imagine you went to the hospital and they bring one doctor. Say, this doctor is a dentist, and but he's a dentist. He's a physician.
No.
But he's going to do your operation very well. No fear. So it's at the end of the day, having like a niche is still very, very, very superior. Like being known for one thing. But another thing I've actually kind of thought of is that focusing on a niche sometimes can be risky and can make you kind of broke in a way. Because when you put all your eggs in one basket and that thing is not working at a particular time, how do you think? What's your suggestion? I have some suggestion on how I manage the situation. But how do you think one can manage the situation that way? That you want your brand to be known for one thing, but at the same time you don't want to lose financially by rejecting other jobs. Do you get?
Okay, so let me just give you guys one simple hack that is fact. I really like it when everybody does it one way or the other.
Yeah, anybody that is saying, no, I only should be not lie.
Okay, let me hear. Everybody, they collect everything. But
Yeah.
it's only that one that you post online, you guys see and say, yes, this is what this guy does.
Yeah.
And that is just the fact.
Yeah.
So you can say, yes, I'm niching down to this particular thing. That's only thing clients see on my page. But then those that worked with me in the past know that, okay, Myde does graphics. Like I said, somebody contacted me for graphics this morning. So I could have said, okay, the graphics, how much is budget? 1 million. I need to take out. I'm not putting on my page that I'm doing graphic design now.
Yeah.
You guys don't know, but then I'm surviving low key. So I feel it's quite important for you to explore, like Dio said. Very important. Explore these options. With time, niche down to this thing and let the world know that this is what I'm doing. When those other jobs come, please, my nigga, take it. Oh. Take it and use that sustain to an extent.
So yeah, my point is very very similar to what you said already. Like if you follow me on Instagram of recent, like you really see I kind of maybe post like once in a month or once in 2 months.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not working, but I just choose what to post, how I decide to brand myself, and that's where branding comes up very very important in that way. What you decide to put out there that people will actually know you for. So I do other jobs. By the way, I shot a wedding this year, but no one actually knows because I don't brand myself as a wedding cinematographer. But if you bring wedding, just bring your budget. So yeah, right now most people know me as a director first, who's focused on commercials, music videos, and documentaries. You don't bring. I'm not a cinematographer. I'm not a DP. But at the same time, I still DP some of my projects sometimes. But I'm not branding myself as that.
One.
So that's a simple arc. What you decide to put out there for yourself is what you'll be known for. So yeah, take that as an arc when you start niching. Just stop branding yourself as what you don't want to be seen as, and start branding yourself. And that's in terms of how you introduce yourself publicly, your public image on social media, the kind of work you see that you do more, like the kind of jobs you accept more. For example, if I want to, like when I wanted to focus on directing, when I wanted to do music videos, I'll take a low budget music video, even though that's not what I will actually take on a normal day.
Yeah.
Just because I want to do more of those kind of work consistently.
Put out there.
I just intentionally take those jobs. It's just you're the captain of your own ship. You steer in the direction
You want to go.
You really.
And I feel like one more thing is that, like, I have a friend who does just drone. He flies just drone. Like, that's
Yes.
just it.
You see, we just have to think there's so many niches you can focus on and just get known for that.
Yeah, if you call me come and fly a drone, charge you like 100k, 150k, depending on the kind of project. The guy does it steady.
Yeah.
And the other thing he does is he has this all this stock footage. Like,
Sell stuff
he sells
today. So
stuff.
sometimes necessarily don't. If you just want drone of 12 Milan Bridge, it doesn't necessarily have to go out and fly it.
Yeah,
Just,
and a lot of people feel like stock. It's just peanuts. It's just peanuts. It's fact. It's peanuts. But then this guy has been into this thing for like 6-7 years, so it's not that peanuts for him.
yeah. He has a huge clientele base of
Exactly.
customers that will just remember him once drone comes.
They go there,
Now
and the
this guy-
stock thing always comes through for him every now and then. You just me that far. I want to go cash out my stock. Like, correct guy. So that's another option for him.
Yeah.
Once in a while, and above all, it's in dollars.
There's so many options. There's so many options to niching. There's a lot of people don't even think about grip. Like there are
Yeah.
celebrity grip guys in Nigeria. There's some projects I want to use some guys for grip. I'm down like, yeah, this guy, how much this guy is charging. I'm like, voila, waiting happen. Waiting happen. Like so many like there's some sound guys that you can't just afford.
Yeah.
Because they have really made a name for themselves in that
aspect.
space, in that niche. And you just know if you really want the best sound guy,
This is the man for
this
the
is
job.
the guy for this job. You get. So I think we should just round up by maybe just discussing like a few people, a few brands that have actually focused on a particular niche and are kind of doing extremely great. I think one of the first examples that comes to my head is when you like in the past 2-3 years, when you think about music videos, who do you think about first?
Like a boy director.
Yeah, T.J. Omori. Like that is the first person you just think about. Like that's how powerful in a niche is. If you want to go, okay, I want to shoot if someone is coming from the US and say I want to shoot a music video in Nigeria,
Who do I go to?
That's the first name that will pop up. And that's how niche works. Like you just own a space and kind of really, really dominate your name in that space. If we talk about documentary, who comes to your mind first?
Talk about documentaries Nigeria. I don't know anyone. Basically.
One of the persons that comes to my mind is probably maybe let's say Timmy Davis.
Okay,
Yes,
that's true.
He's been consistent in that line for like a long time, and I feel he creates one of like the best like documentaries in Nigeria.
What about travel videos?
Travel videos, I'll still say Tayo.
Exactly. That's the first person that comes to my mind.
That's the first person that comes to your mind. You get
real estate.
Real estate. I might really not know. There's still Tayo. Steve. Yes, Steven Duku. His real estate videos are really, really good. So I think that's one thing that you should just aim for yourself. Also, like when they mention a particular industry, before they mention 2-3 people, your name should pop up. Your name should pop up like that. Yeah, so I think my conclusion. What are your conclusions first?
My conclusion will be for a start. Focus on one niche. That's what worked for me. So if you're like me, that you cannot multitask so much, follow the strategy. Just focus on one niche, and with time, explore to other niche, and you'll be fine. Trust me.
I think my own conclusion will be: if you're not sure of what you want to do, like you just love filmmaking in general, and you don't know the exact path of filmmaking you love to follow, do every part that interests you at that point. With time, as you grow, you will finally find the exact part you are most interested in, and then you focus on that part on your niche. But one thing you should always make sure is that don't waste too much time roaming around. Find your niche as early as possible, as fast as you can, and we'll be all right. Last. So see you guys on the next episode of what do we call this show?
I think it's that podcast. Podcast on my podcast.
See you guys. Peace out.